A routine trip to the grocery store turns into a nightmare for 21-year-old Michael and his wife Brenda when a drunk driver hit them head-on.
I looked up and there were headlights coming straight at us. Turned to look at Michael because he was driving, and we hit.
The drunk driver that hit us got killed on impact. My wife and I are very, very lucky that we're still here. Even with the drunk driver's vehicle, it rolled his pickup 3 or 4 times. Our vehicle spun into oncoming traffic. They had to get the fire department out there with the jaws of life, and it took them about an hour to cut me loose out of my vehicle.
Brenda suffered a broken hand, but Michael's leg was crushed. An ambulance rushed him to a local hospital where doctors inserted a titanium rod and screws to stabilize his shattered leg.
Next day, he had surgery. Doctor told us that it would only take a few hours. Well, it ended up taking 7 hours. And she had explained that the break was a lot worse than she had expected, that she did the best she could, but she wasn't sure he was going to be able to walk again.
After 3 surgeries, 3 weeks in the hospital, and 6 months of physical therapy, Michael's leg showed no signs of healing.
Every time the surgeon would show me x-rays, nothing was progressing. And it was very scary because I was having to walk around with a cane or a walker or, sometimes even a wheelchair. And that's very scary, being 21 years old and wondering, am I going to be like this the rest of my life?
Determined to find a solution, Michael sought a second opinion from orthopedic trauma surgeon Dr. Steven Sands.
Michael was pretty upset because he had a bone that refused to heal, and the doctors who had been treating him didn't exactly know why.
After a careful review of Michael's medical history, Dr. Sands discovered that Michael had undiagnosed diabetes, which can inhibit the ability to heal. Getting Michael's blood sugar under control was the first priority.
I was very shocked to find out that I had diabetes. Nobody in my family has had it before. I'm the only one. But at the same time, it was a relief finding out that I had diabetes because that was one of the main contributing factors of why my bones were not healing properly.
For someone like Michael, whose bone refused to heal, sometimes they need to be augmented with certain materials to help that bone heal. And bone grafting is a great option.
But that meant yet another surgery. And after 3 unsuccessful operations, Michael was apprehensive.
Dr. Sands told me his plan was he was going to start cutting at my hip and cut all the way to my knee. And where the fracture was, he was going to put this bone graft material in there and sew it back together. And at that point I was really scared. Who wouldn't be scared? That's a pretty big operation. But he reassured me that he was very confident in what he was doing, that I would be just as good as new whenever I was done.
Dr. Sands inserted a bone graft material called Trinity ELITE to help facilitate the bone fusion process. Processed for orthofix by the Musculoskeletal Transplant Foundation, MTF. Trinity ELITE is an allograft created from human bone that has been processed to preserve the living adult stem cells. Allografts come from donors, people who have died in accidents or from sudden illnesses. A single donor can help up to 50 patients like Michael.
I remind people, and especially my patients all the time, that the reason why they were able to get something like Trinity is because someone gave the gift of their life. And it's something we should never forget.
I could tell them thank you 1,000 times and it would not be sufficient. Even though the donor family, they lost a loved one, they had to go through all the pain and suffering, but they gave me my life back and gave me my family's life back where I could provide for my family, and that's something I could never repay them enough for.
If I ever got the opportunity to meet the family that did donate their family to us, there wouldn't be words to say, but thank you. The life that we have wouldn't be without their family.
Back at work and walking with no sign of a limp, Michael is one of the more than 135,000 patients whose lives have been changed after receiving Trinity Evolution or Trinity ELITE bone graft material.
It was 3 years of lots of surgeries, lots of very grueling physical therapy, lots of sleepless nights, you know, I mean, a roller coaster of emotions, you know, and 3 years later, I'm finally back to where I was, you know, working in the oil and natural gas industry.
You don't think that it'll ever get better than what it was, and it really has with this bone graft. He has gone above and beyond what we had expected to come. And with determination and the skills of the doctors that worked on him and the donor, we can move on.
To learn more about Trinity Elite bone graft material, please visit orthofix.com. Caution: Federal law USA restricts bone graft material to sale by or on the order of a physician. Not everyone responds to bone graft material in the same way, and patient experiences may vary. To understand the benefits and risks, please discuss them with your doctor. A prescription is required. For complete safety information, please visit Orthofix's website at www.orthofix.com and click on the Instructions for Use tab located in the Products section of the website. Trinity Elite is an allograft intended for the treatment of musculoskeletal defects. Extensive medical screening procedures have been used in the selection of all tissue donors for Musculoskeletal Transplant Foundation, MTF. Transmission of infectious diseases such as HIV or hepatitis, as well as the theoretical risk of the Creutzfeldt-Jakob CJD agent, may occur in spite of careful donor selection and serological testing. Bacterial infection at the site of grafting may occur. Possible adverse effects of using human tissues include, but are not limited to, infection of soft tissue and/or bone, osteomyelitis, fever, deformity of the bone at the site, incomplete bone ingrowth, delayed union or non-union, fracture of the newly formed bone, disease transmission, and undesirable immune response. This video contains information about bone graft therapy that is approved for use in the United States, and this video is intended to be viewed by residents of the United States. This video is intended to be viewed in context of YouTube.com, Vimeo.com, or an Orthofix website. Orthofix is not responsible for the context in which it is shared.